Yesterday we had a very interesting conversation.
With hindsight, I think when I chose, I was very naive. And I keep telling my husband that if you have come to propose to me now,
as I am,
your chances are very slim. And he would ask me why, because I think I didn't know the journey I was going on. So when I was choosing, I only chose looking at my then. So I looked for someone who would accept me as I am, who would encourage me to be me, and who would want me just being me. I looked at someone who I could relate to as a friend, and someone whose values aligned with mine. I think those were the basic things I considered then.
But those are really good.
Yeah. But going on the journey, I have come to realize...
being on the journey.
Yes, being on the journey. I have come to realize that the biggest deal for me would have been one who is very biased towards God. One who has found God, who knows God, and who, when shove comes to push, would always lean towards God's side or God's will. Because the journey of marriage, you cannot predict. You know you are on a journey, but you cannot predict what would happen. So when it comes to crunch and we need to do something, I would prefer one who would choose God's side. Then, coming to the physicals, I would use, I think it is in Corinthians or so, the love is kind, love is this. I would list it and I'll mark you. And the standard should be, at least for every point, you should be hovering somewhere around 90. So how kind are you? How long suffering are you?
Patient.
How
patient are you?
Yes.
Patient.
How do you condone evil? How much evil?
How not envious are you?
So I will list them, and you would have to score at least 85%
in all of them.
Yes. Then, of course,
more.
Yes. Your values
then suggest that you will be scoring 85% yourself.
Yes, I think. Yes, I think so.
She's scoring us. I
think so.
Yes,
I think so.
She's not very firm about
she's just
point.
not sure about where.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 33 Men's Voice podcast, where we learn about the male and female dynamics and also take the opportunity to also expose the lies and the dangers of feminism on Africans, Ghanaians in particular. My name is Kwabena Bibini. You can call me DJ for the public enemy who has no one. And first of all, let me say shout out to Joy FM and Adam Nate in particular for holding down the Home Affairs show for a long time, and it's one big platform that you tune in every weekend to learn more about family issues and all of that. So first of all, shout out to Joy FM and Adam herself. I have attended this show once they hosted it at the Oak Plaza Hotel. I participated in it years back, so I know this show. So let's go into it. Today we are going to react to this video. I've seen, when you go to the comment section on Joy FM Facebook, it's nothing to write home about. I'll be reading some of the comments right there, and you see my title saying that this woman should apologize to the husband. So, but first of all, I want you people to know that this video is going to be purely educational one, and because of that, I wrote some things down that I want us to look out for after you finish watching the video. First, I'm asking a question: what will make a woman at this age, this time, bring the husband to this public ridicule? What can possibly be the problem? Without accusing her first, what can be the factors behind the scenes that can cause that? And the next point we are going to learn about maybe can help. I say that there might be a parental failure. A parental failure can bring this disgrace here. 2, there could be possible state flight. What is state flight? A state flight is when someone becomes nervous, jittery, whilst on stage or about to go on stage, especially when we are on stage, like here, as I'm sitting here, I can go to state flight where everything I want to say, I might forget and quickly have to say something to fill the gap. Because once you press record or live, he can give us thin air. There should be something. Exactly. And number 4, as I said, she must apologize to the husband. And number 5, I'm asking a question. Does our dear sister, dear mother, think that she should give us a percentage? That would the husband also choose her in her state now? Now she feels she's the best in her best state. Does she think the husband, if the husband is meeting her right now, an unmarried man, will she marry her? If yes, why? If no, why? So these are the pointers that we are going to be looking at going forward in today's video. So let's continue listening to the video, and then after that I'll come back with my analysis. So let's enjoy.
In someone, I'm saying I think so because I have to give room for people to assess. But yes, I think so.
She's scoring us.
I think so. Them, and you would have to score at least 85%
in all of them.
Yes. Then, of course,
more.
Yes. Your values
then suggest that you will be scoring 85% yourself.
Yes, I think. Yes, I think so.
She's scoring us.
I think so.
Yes,
I think so.
She's not very firm about
she's
her
just
point.
not sure about what.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's first deal with my second point, which is possible state flight. Let's deal with state flight, and then from there we go to the other point. Or we should deal with parental failure, because the first question is, what will make a woman bring the husband? And I'm saying this with the mindset or the assumption that she's still married, because a lot of men after this will file for divorce. It might be, you can say it's petty, but that is the gross disrespect to a husband if she is still married. Okay, so what will make someone disgrace a husband like this? I doubt if she sees it as a disgrace, or many other people will say, oh, it's a normal, she's speaking her truth and all of that. Now, I will go for a parental failure. I would say that it is her parents who have failed her, which is why, number 1, she didn't know her priorities when she was getting married. Most important priorities that she would have gone for. And that is where I have been saying that parents should desist from denying their daughters the information about marriage. Okay, these days, most parents don't talk about marriage to their parents. We are only interested in their child education, the classroom education. But one of the most important aspects of our life as human beings, which is marriage, we do not talk about it. Most parents these days shy away from talking about marriage. And why I call it parental failure. Wow. Now, you at your age, you now want a husband that loves God above everything. Recently, Amofe Petri said she wants a husband that will worship her. This woman wants a husband that worships God most. So let's give her a plus there. But where is the failure? The failure is it that when she was about to marry, the father, the mother, or the parent were not staunch Christians or religious people? She can fill in the gap here. Because if the parents were people who were biased towards God, they will make sure their daughter seek a man that is like them, who take the issues of the Lord, worship, Christianity, religion, spirituality so serious. So these are things the parents, if they had, and I'm assuming, because if not, why, if the parent were, why didn't she see it as a priority? If the parent had it and she didn't see that as a priority, then we should question who she was when she was about to get married. Now, this is why it is important for modern day parents to instill certain values in their daughters. And it is important for young women as well, and young men as well, to also consult, not pastors most of the time, some family members and role models, to know more about men, to know more about women before you settle. That is very, very important. And I will conclude by saying that the parent failed this woman, or she failed herself. If the parent had all these things that she's looking for in a man, and she didn't make it on top of her list of choosing a man, then she failed herself. If the parent weren't, then they failed her. Now, let's go to a possible state flight. As I mentioned earlier, state flight is when someone gets nervous or jittery, okay, become afraid in the process of talking to an audience. Can be on stage, can be on radio, can be on TV, like I'm recording here. Okay, so let's give her the benefit of the doubt that this woman on a normal day wouldn't have said this thing, even though you could see it has been in her heart, because she said she keep repeating it to the husband. And I don't know why the husband has not also talked to her to stop saying those things, because it does not make sense anywhere. So there could be a possible state flight. The right thing that she wanted to say, she forgot it. And then to fill the gap, to fill the void, she has to say this. But when you are on radio, or you are on TV, you are on the media, and the host is a professional like Adam, they try to save you. They try to cover you. I have seen this thing in my broadcasting career, and therefore, I do what I call the interview before the interview. When somebody is becoming my guest on my show, I ask them, have you been on radio before? Have you been on TV before? If they tell me no, I engage them on a conversation on the phone and take them through 90% of the question that I will ask them. Question that if they say the wrong thing would disgrace them and disgrace the show. So to an extent, I take them through it, except they are politicians. If they are politicians, I don't do that for them. But if they are not politicians, I try to save and prevent the image of my guests as much as I can. But Adam tried doing it on air. But this woman didn't listen. So that is where we remove the issue of state flight. Because if it was state flight, she would have seen that the moment Adam said, but if you are looking for the man to score 90% on this, at least you should be able to score 85% by Adam. Why should you reduce the standard? But that is how society treats our dear mothers and women. Last week, when I was preaching emotional intelligence, I was saying that emotional intelligence is not a person who expresses their emotions often. Rather, it is the person who identifies their emotions, spot it, and then control it, and don't use their emotions to come out with negative actions or outcomes. Therefore, society for a long time has given consequences, punishment for anyone acting unemotional or unintelligently emotionally. Okay, but these days, the punishment for a woman acting unintelligently with her emotions is almost zero. So we should accept why our dear host Adam would tell her to also score herself 85 before expecting 90% from a man. So the moment Adam said that, but if you are expecting a man to score 90%, you should be scoring around 85. And she said, I think, and then all the other panelists came in and said, but if you are holding a man to that standard, you should even be 100. That's what I'll say. But let's forgive her. So, with the issue of a possible state flight, Adam came in to save her, to prompt her that, Madam, what you're saying, if you are not sure, reframe it. And she went ahead. So it means that the reason why she would ridicule the husband like this, would bring the husband name to this disrepute on a national platform like this, is not as a result of she experiencing state flight. My first point stands that her parents might have failed her, or she herself had failed herself. Now, what is the next point? She must apologize. That one will come later. Now, let's ask the question. This woman is saying that she keeps telling the husband that if you were coming for me today, you would have suffered. Let's ask the question. My dear woman, do you think 9 out of 10, your husband would have chose you now? Probably no. Because you are using your current state to mark yourself, to judge yourself, and also to judge your husband. What you are refusing to realize is that at this age, if your husband is not married, he will not possibly marry you. Why? Because the things, apart from fearing God and everything, the things that man uses or based on to say that I'm settling on this, I'm settling on this woman, at this age, you may not have majority of them. One, your ability to give him children, fertility. Most men will not choose you, including your husband, possibly. Probably will not choose you because maybe now you are getting closer to menopause. So she might not choose you. Your beauty, the beauty your husband saw when he married you. Today, if he is not married, based on that, he will not choose you. Next one, your age, which is tied to the beauty. Okay? The fourth one, your innocence. Every man, before they settle on the woman, they want to see that the woman has a certain level of innocence as far as sexual experience are concerned. Will you tell me that at this age, you'll be a virgin, or your body count would have been lower? No. So these are some of the things our dear mother woman should have considered before making these utterances, even to the husband at home, before bringing it on national television or radio. Because at this age, if you are not married, your beauty upon which the man settled to marry you wouldn't be there. So he also will not choose you. Your ability to give him children, it might not be that strong. So he might not have chosen you. Then your innocence. Most men, if they realize that the woman has, with exception of men who lack male leadership, with exception of men who are looking for a woman to lead them in the relationship, especially in the area of sex, and any man that seek a woman to train them on bed, most of the time they lose their relationship and marriages. So from male's perspective, your husband wouldn't have chosen you either. That is why relationship and marriage is hand go, hand come. We come together to build ourselves, but most importantly, men build ourselves to a certain level to uplift most women, not the other way around. So for you to come and sit on radio and TV to put your husband in this ridicule is uncalled for, and therefore you should apologize seriously to your husband. And if you do not meet a man who is so firm, and for some consideration, these utterances can make you lose your relationship. These utterances can make a lot of women lose their relationship, because that's gross disrespect to the husband. So just as you think, now you've seen the Lord, your spirituality has deepened, your whatever has deepened, and therefore you wouldn't have chosen your husband, or it would have been difficult. It's the same thing. At this age, your husband wouldn't have chosen you. So let's go back a little bit and then finish with the video and then wrap up. So madam, this is not.
Are you?
So I will list them, and you would have to score at least 85%
In
for
all
me.
of them?
Yes. Then, of course,
There's more.
yes. Your
This
values.
then suggests that you will be scoring 85% yourself.
Yes, I think.
That is a professional host, okay? And I'm advertising for her show. It's called Home Affairs on Joy FM, I think on Saturday in the morning. Try and then tune in. You will learn a lot. But when she put it to her that she had to score the same thing, you see how jittery she was becoming.
Yes, I think so.
She's scoring us. I agree with
I
you.
think so.
Yes.
I think so. She's not very firm about
No, she's
her
just
point.
not sure about where from 85 to 100.
If someone,
where she is.
I'm saying I think so because I have to give room for people to assess. But from my own perspective, I think even if I am not there, I am willing
to work.
to work it out.
So if the
So you want someone to accept you to work on yourself, but you, no room. You see, and this conversation is full of entitlement. So full of entitlement. And it's unfortunate this happened on Adam's show. So there are certain things that I want to say, but I can't say. But let it slide.
score 85 and they are willing to work with you, you still would give them a chance.
No.
When a man doesn't have the 85 point, but the man is willing to work, she's not going to accept. But a man should accept her to work on herself. This is a big indictment on the husband if she's still married to the husband. From today onwards.
See that probation.
Because the journey is long. I cannot predict what will.
The journey is long answer is useless. It's bogus. It doesn't look. All the sisters on the couch or on the panel are surprised, and that is why I say it is either parental. No, the parental failure is number one. Is there, and then the state flight. She experienced state flight, but doesn't want to accept it. She wants to make everybody feel like she's saying something.
And it is like you going on a journey, and you are not too sure of the vehicle you are going with. Then you say, "Oh, because I'm sure you tighten the no. It will be too risky for me."
Madam, at your age, where have you heard that anyone that has married for 20 years, 30 years, 4 years, 5 years, knew everything before they happened in their life? This is ridiculous. And leave the wonder, what do you call it? Delusional land. Look at you. Your co-panelists, who are all women, are in shock of your utterances.
If you don't know the journey and you have an idea of what the road looks like, then you know that, okay, you could find some mechanics on the road if there is a challenge. There probably will be a gas station if you have to fill up. You know what I mean?
That is why I said the defining thing for me is the God bias thing.
Great.
So even if you are not loving enough, but I can discern that, I mean, you would want to know what God is saying,
Then you
and you
would do the
wouldn't
right
mind doing it, and you would do it. I
Then
think I would
that's
consider that. The God bias thing would sort of negate every other thing for me.
For you. Wow. And then number 3?
Our values must align. There must be some, like Aram said, looks. I would think of, my children should look up.
Values, and she mentioned that in the earlier when the husband was coming for her, she was looking at if their values align. Look, here's the thing, madam. If you are truthful to yourself. If you consider values then, but not consider God, values deals with the issues of religion, spirituality. You have brought the standard of the Home Affairs show down because you didn't know what you were talking about. And you brought certain things that your husband should have told you never to mention again from home to the studio. So over here, we cannot let the man go scot-free. The man must also, because if a woman starts saying some of these things, put them to their place. And for whatever reason, the man couldn't do that. That's why she has brought it here. Because it doesn't cut at all.
So I'll look at the looks. And it is not everybody that I really want to be close to, intimate with. So at least that thing that when you touch me, I won't cringe.
Should be there.
Should be there.
Whoever is the husband of this man, this woman, should advise himself. Should advise himself, because this woman at this point, whatever she's saying here suggests that at this point in her marriage, she found it difficult getting touchy with her husband. Because he says if she knew these are some of the things, she would have made the criteria which would have made it difficult for the husband to get her. It means these are things the husband doesn't have as we speak. It means she found it difficult to let the husband touch her. And I doubt if she's married currently. And if she is, the husband must advise himself. The husband must advise himself. Because this is dangerous. This is very, very dangerous. A former landlady told me that she loved the husband, but one thing that made her have issue with the husband before the husband died was the husband's surname. And the things women fancy as a man, if you don't have them, don't be around them. So at this point, this woman, are you telling us that if you meet a man who is so God biased, religious bias, wouldn't you leave this man for him? It's a question. So our brother should advise himself, because where it is going with touching and all of that is dangerous.
It's true.
She was going to look at their face for validation. No, your sisters have failed you. They've told you without speaking that we do not support this. They've told you without telling you that we do not support what you are saying. So let me read some of the comments quickly. Justin Mensah says, hey, J Smoke, shout out to you. He says, we need programs, more programs like this for these young wayward children. Many men are triggered, but anything she said is in line with scripture. J Smoke, I get what you're coming from, but this is ridiculous and disgrace to the husband and to herself and her parent. That is why we say parents should advise their children. They should inculcate these values in their children, and they should let them know that these are the things that going forward will sustain you and your marriage. This one says, Steve Dallas says that they say wisdom comes with age, but listening to her, it feels like I am listening to an 18, 19-year-old who is now looking to get married. I can bet you that her husband is everything any woman would want, but she still feels dissatisfied. Yes, I will do a session only for the comment section on this show, on this piece. Okay, so brothers, let's also be careful. Let's also be careful when women start making such utterances. And the utterance she said, if she has made it to the husband at home, then the husband should advise himself. Peace.